And it's time for game picks and bold predictions for Southern Miss Arkansas State here on a Friday afternoon. Glyn Dyar with 247 Sports. I'm Dima Mixon with the Pine Belt News. We normally get these picks in on Thursday, Glenn, but why not an extra day to look over a tremendously interesting matchup tomorrow out there in Jonesboro?
Yeah, I just left a local drinking establishment. I was not drinking. I was eating chicken wings and had my laptop working on a story for from baseball. But all the USM fans were in there, and they're just sitting there on go waiting for 11 o'clock. So they're. I mean, there's a buzz in town.
Yeah, and there's definitely probably a buzz in town and in Jonesboro as well. I think this is a really big game for Arkansas State. Probably one of the bigger home games they've probably had in a long time. I mean, looking back at their history and stuff. So I think it's just a big game for both programs. And so Glenn, coming into the season, Arkansas State was picked third to finish in the Sun Belt West. They started 1-4, and everybody knows now that they've won four in a row. To me, they're starting to play like the team that everybody thought they would be at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, their athletic director did him no favors with two P4 games back to back with Arkansas and Iowa State. That was brutal. And you're also doing that with it. I mean, his player turnover is pretty big. They had a ton of new guys they're trying to fit in, and obviously a couple of guys from Southern Miss are over there. So and figured prominently into their offense. But yeah, I think Butch has been coaching too long, and he's too good a coach not to figure it out. And once he saw some of the disparities, and he had that off week, they took that off week and really went down on those issues and cleaned some of those up. And since then, they've been rolling like 4-0. And the defense was giving up like 30 points a game. I think they're giving up like 16.4 a game in those four games. So, that's considerable.
For sure. And you mentioned the Southern Miss players that are over on Arkansas State now, Will Saxon, Ethan Crawford, Kenyon Clay. I thought it was funny. I don't know if you've been on
I
Twitter
saw
yet,
that.
but how Arkansas State announced the uniforms they would be wearing was the three players from Southern Miss. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if Southern Miss fans really think that's all. Is that a flex for Southern Miss fans when they're 6-2, 4-0 in the Sun Belt, and pretty much their entire team as far as players who mattered, which, not that doesn't really account for a lot of people because they
You
were
want me, you want me to
terrible.
you want me to tell you what kind of flex it reminded me of? The team that this reminded me of, it would be something La Tech would do.
Yeah.
Kind of bush league, but whatever. It's their choices in life.
It's just funny that Arkansas State's depth chart comes out, and Ethan Crawford isn't even the second string quarterback, and it's just kind of a weird like why I don't know. It's just not really a flex to me. Regardless, regardless of whether or not you think it's a flex, Ethan Crawford is not the quarterback who Arkansas State's going to run out there, barring something dramatic. Jalen Rayner, though, Glenn is, and you know, studying this week on him, looking at his numbers. I mean, say what you want to say about 1-4 start and 5-4 now. This quarterback and Jalen Rayner has not missed a beat, throwing for over 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, six interceptions, and his completion percentage is really right there with Braylon Braxton at
Yeah, their number
66.9%.
their numbers are so close. I was thinking if I didn't have Braylon Braxton as my quarterback, he would definitely be, 1B. That he and the quarterback at JMU and
Yeah.
probably the quarterback at Old Dominion. Those four guys have been good this year.
And when I looked at Southern Miss's schedule, I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, on this four-game win streak for Southern Miss, going back to the Jacksonville State game. I mean, I don't think this defense has seen a quarterback like this, like an off, because you think about that ULM game, they were on their third string quarterback, so that was just a wash. That is what it is. Louisiana, they were on their second string quarterback, which, Lunch Winfield has proven that he's going to be good, but he wasn't ready to beat Southern Miss that day,
He also didn't
and
have the accompaniment of a trio of receivers that Arkansas State has. I think their in totality, their receiver group is close to ours.
right.
So
And then you go back to the Georgia Southern game, and I mean, I think we both said that week that French was like a good quarterback, but I mean, Jalen Raynor is better than French in my opinion.
yeah, he has their athletic ability is not even comparable. I mean, he's JC's French is a pocket passer and a really good one, really accurate, smart quarterback. But what Rayner brings with his legs is as a as a defense, you have to see that other gap he adds to the run game. It's tough. I mean, and Braylon offers the same things to opposing defenses.
And then you go back to the Jacksonville State game. Of course, the Jacksonville State quarterback got hurt in that game, and then they had to run out their other quarterback who rushed for like 200 yards in that game. But, so my point in all that saying is like, I don't think they've faced an offense this quote unquote complete yet. I mean, you could maybe make the argument of Mississippi State, but I mean, this is an offense that has a starting quarterback who's played in every game this season. Like you said, the receivers, Chauncey Cobb, 608 yards on the year. Corey Rucker, 533 yards
Yeah,
on the year.
Rucker's
I
a
mean,
stud, man.
right. I mean, they have talent, and we've seen offenses be able to move the ball on this Southern Miss defense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I guess the obvious you and I've talked about it is regardless of what the over under is, the point spread, who's favored. 4-0, you're at your place, and I mean that's got to be a huge advantage. Coming out, Southern Miss needs to probably weather that first quarter, and if Southern can come out quick, that'd be great. I mean, that's what Arkansas State did to Troy last week. They came out quick and just kind of put them in a spot where they could just go. The defense could just go hunt their quarterback when they were 17 up. But something else to consider: the Arkansas State offensive line is pretty beat up. They lost their right tackle earlier in the season, and last week they lost a senior left guard, Tristan Smith. So we're gonna have a redshirt freshman making that start at that left guard, and the left tackle started the season is playing right tackle. So it's kind of a mash unit on the offensive line for Arkansas State. I'm hoping the Southern Miss front seven can take advantage of that.
Definitely. So Arkansas State ranks 12th in the Sun Belt out of 14 teams of sacks allowed per game at 2.56. Do you know who, when I'm talking about the Arkansas State's defensive line, do you know who ranks number one in sacks allowed?
Who would that be?
Southern Miss,
Miss.
which they
Southern
allow,
Miss and ULM.
yes, Southern Miss and James Madison. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. So it says they allow 1.3 sacks per game, but that would be lower than, I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna, you know what? Forget
I
that
think
stat.
I think
I'm gonna
sacks
pretend like I didn't even
allowed.
say that
Yeah,
stat.
USM and ULM have given up 11 on the season. I think is the last time I looked at the Sun Belt stats. And those are not always right because the leading receiver in the conference they have listed is Chester with like
Yes.
700 yards, and like that's not even close. So they probably need to
Yes.
fix that. Anyway,
So
that's neither here nor there.
the point is that Arkansas State allows sacks. I mean, that's kind of the point. They've allowed 23 sacks in the season, almost three a game. And that's really not good news when you're facing a defensive front like Southern Miss.
Yeah, I think a big key in this game is both teams are going to want to be able to run the ball. Neither team is an exceptional run team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, I did find one interesting stat. Arkansas State is number 20 in the entire country in first downs. That's impressive, and that gives me an idea that they get those dirty 4 to 6 yards on first down, whether it be a screen, a bubble, or Kenyon Clay just grinding out a dirty 4 or 5 yards. What that does is keep Jalen Rayner on time, and their OC Heckendorf keeps his playbook completely open, and they're not predictable at that point. It keeps them on time and gives them the ability to move the chains. So it's going to be, that first down is going to be big for the Southern Miss defense to try to put Rayner behind the chains. Because if you don't do that, you open the playbook for him, and it could get interesting at that point.
For sure. Well, Glenn, I mean, when you look at these two teams, I mean, you have to assume that this is going to be a game on Saturday. I just can't imagine a scenario where Southern Miss goes in there and just rolls them,
No, I don't
with
see
the
that.
stakes. So, it's going to be a good game, of course, and we'll be watching. But we're going to go ahead and give our bold predictions and game scores here on this show, as Charles Huff likes to call it, our show. Uh, We don't really have a name for it. It's just two ding dongs talking
Maybe
about football.
maybe Coach Huff can name it for us.
And he might could. Glenn, why don't you give us your bold prediction, not a score pick, but your bold prediction on Saturday as Southern Miss heads to Jonesboro?
I think I'm going to go bold here, and then with the return of Jeff Pittman with a week off, rested legs, I'm going to say Jeff Pittman 100 plus yards and a big difference maker for Southern Miss in this game and keeping the chains moving, keeping Braylon Braxton on time, and keeping our playbook open for Blake Anderson where he is not predictable on third down.
Okay, so big good day for Jeff Pittman. As we just mentioned, both these teams don't run particularly well, so a good day on the ground for Jeff Pittman would be beneficial for the Golden Eagle offense. Yeah, I'm going to stay on the offensive side as well. It's sometimes hard for me to gauge like or pick a receiver that's just going to go off because it can be anybody, any given day. So I'm going to stick on the ground, but I'm going to go opposite of you. Give me Braylon Braxton, 100 yards rushing, plus
Oh, see, I've
rushing.
been waiting for that to happen all year.
So I just think this could be the day where it happens, or he busts one off, something like that. He only has 215 yards rushing so far this season, so I'm, basically saying he's going to get 50% of what he has on the whole season in one day.
He
But I
just
but I
has
think
been
I think they've
included
been
in the run
waiting for
scheme.
this game to do something like that. So
Right.
it should be interesting for sure. So, 100 yards on the ground for Jeff Pittman for him, 100 yards on the ground for Braylon Braxton for me. Glenn, let's hear your score prediction. Southern Miss is a 4.5 point road favorite. The over-under is at 55 and a half. Do the Golden Eagles go into Jonesboro and get the victory?
I'm gonna stay under with 30 to 24 Southern Miss.
Okay.
Barely.
So you got them covering the 4.5 though, with
Yeah.
got them covering the points, and you're at the under, but you're barely under. All right, so you know what? I went back and forth on this game. I really did. I was really close to picking Arkansas State to win. And the only reason is you got to give them some points for home field advantage. You got to give them some points for kind of the emotion of it. But when I sat down both teams and like looked at them on paper and just thought about it, I was like, you know what? These teams are like almost like eerily similar in a way
Yeah,
where
they
it's
are.
like you got a quarterback who can run, pretty good weapons, and a good enough defense to win games. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, to me, it's like, who are you going to trust more, Jalen Rayner or Braxton? I mean, that's to me like the deciding factor. And right now, you can't pick up against Braylon Braxton in that scenario, right? Where like, who do you trust more to go on a game-winning drive, Jalen Rayner or Braylon Braxton? I want to say Braylon Braxton every single time.
Right.
So that's what I think is going to happen. Game-winning drive for Braylon Braxton. Southern Miss squeaks out of Jonesboro, and I have it 30 to 27 over the Red Wolves. So that's taking Arkansas State with the points at 4.5, but having Southern Miss winning the outright, and that would be the over 55 and a half because I do think the teams are going to be able to score on each other. I mean, I just don't see a area where both of these defense just shut down the other offense. I do think you're going to see some points in this game, so I think I'm okay hitting the over there.
Yeah, I guess when you looked at the numbers back to that, a lot of similarities. But I guess the thing that stood out to me is how opportunistic Southern Miss's defense is with all the
Yep.
turnovers.
Hmm.
I think that could be huge. I mean, you never know going in the game. Obviously, turnover margin is one of the greatest predictors of victory or loss. But I mean, for Southern Miss to win this game, they need to do what they do on a weekly basis, and get some takeaways and give the offense a short field.
For sure. And that's something about Southern Miss is like they don't turn the ball over that much either. Like they
No.
get turnovers, but don't turn the ball over. And the old mantra always is when you go on the road, you can't turn the ball over. You got to take care of the football and you got to score in the red zone. And I feel like if Southern Miss can just do that, if they could just take care of the football, score in the red zone, score when the opportunities are there, they should win this game. They have the better talent in my head than Arkansas State. But I do think with the stakes involved, Arkansas State will make this a game, and Southern Miss to me will have to dig deep to win this game on the road. 30 to 27 for me, 30 to 24, so pretty similar scores there for
Yeah,
Glenn. Um, Enjoy the game. It's at 11 a.m. on ESPNU. I hope you can watch it if you have YouTube TV. I don't know, man.
I do, man. I'm going to Hulu. I'm dumping that stuff, man.
I know I probably need to as well. Um, so we will see you on Tuesday. We're not going to make the trip to Jonesboro. But you can follow Glenn on Twitter and in his live thread on his site if you would like at 247sports.com. You can always follow me on Dima Mixon on Twitter as well and follow all my writing at Pine Belt News. Glenn,
Can I share
come
one
on.
thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's we have a special going, and it's you type in goldeneaglepride.com. First month's only $1. If you don't like it, you can leave. If you do like it, it's $12 a month after that, or you can get an annual. It's $8 a month and like $85 straight up. So come try it for $1. You get a month. Try it out, see if you like it.
So it's like $1. It's like, would you
$1
rather
for a
like a,
month.
a stick of gum or like Glenn's amazing football expert
Thank you
writing?
very
And
much.
like
But
a
we'll have
month.
interviews with Coach Creel, Coach Oz, all the football. Getting some basketball going now, so there'll be plenty to talk about. And there's a live message board with 500 people going at it. Talking Southern Miss sports.
Yeah, so go do that. But you can also follow us here at Find All News, as we hope you do every day. Subscribe to the channel, and you can go to the website of cityspokes.com to read all of that. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. For Glyn Dyar, I'm Dima Mixon. Thank you.